Garden is so beautiful this July, and every July we have a big bloom around the garden. I believe that's called croquisma, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, and we have an awful lot of it, as well as the Japanese maples and some specialty fir. I believe that is called the Vanderwolf pine. We're actually in the process of trying to get a source for tagging these trees because we have an arboretum developing. That tree in the background by the fountain, by the waterfall, is called a hand clasp, and huge crooked willows behind that actually came from my house in Olympia, Washington, and grew up from little twigs these past 10 years that we've been here. There's a Japanese black pine right in front of us, and a lot of trees around this pond complex used to be our Christmas trees. I believe that one in the back, which was not a Christmas tree, is called a Deodora. Looks rather fantastical. And we've had the fish for a while now. I've had some originally for about 20 years, growing them up from about a 6-inch koi to the size of this big boy here. And then we lost the entire pond when a dog got in it and punched holes in the bottom. So during that replacement process, the people who were helping us killed every single one of my fish. So these are all what I would call second generation. But we have some beautiful lilies that grow up every year. These are as tall as I am, around 5'5" or so. And a lot of daylilies on the property as well. I rarely photograph other areas of Adytum, and you mostly see the lake and whatnot, but we are working on segregating more of these gardens and putting more focus into them. Again, we have a huge collection of different types of trees. This one here is a paperbark maple, and you can see that unusual bark. And there's a large fig growing up in the middle of this garden, and it's quite prolific. And a huge Lebanese cedar that's actually surpassed the top of the deck. So when you're sitting on the Star of the North deck, you can see right into the top of this Lebanese cedar. And there's great kiwi growing on the top of that deck, as well as another fig. So you're literally just picking your breakfast as you're sitting on the patio watching the beautiful Lake Mayfield. In the background, these are some super old trees, really high, probably 150 to 200-year-old fir. That's a hemlock, I believe, and maple. And then, of course, Lake Mayfield is right around the back here, peeking through the trees. And those of you who have stayed at Adytum Sanctuary recognize this pull-in, because this is where you park your car against the little wall that I always describe as having the grapes on it. And then right beyond that wall is the stunning view of Lake Mayfield. And it's almost noon now, and it's just beautiful. I think there's one boat on the lake. And this little patio has really developed, this pergola area. I'm walking down the courtyard steps right now to the Orion Suite, and here it is. I keep the umbrella down a little bit because the winds whip up and tend to tip everything over here regardless of the base. But here's this beautiful little flagstone base that we now have under the pergola here, and it's covered with grapes, and it's just a splendid, relaxing place to sit any time of day, but particularly at the end of the day, I'd say, with a glass of wine. And that's when I see most of our guests here. We have some, I believe that's called pistachio hydrangea, and another type of hydrangea. And look at the grapes coming on already. So we are going to be in harvest very soon here. And there's water music everywhere. This fountain's running a little bit slow. It needs some water, but a lot of birds come and enjoy having a drink, especially at the top of the fountain. You usually see a hummingbird sitting at the top, or our state bird, which is the goldfinch. But it's lovely and relaxing. And I have to go into town now to go get my mail, which is 3 miles away, and I'm telling you, I can hardly bear to leave. Adytum is a vortex. There's something magical about this property, and there always was from the first time, or let's say the second time I saw it, when the lake was opened to our view. It's captivating and relaxing. We have a full house this weekend, and I hope you have a lovely summer. I'm going to enjoy my weekend.